everyone, to your favorite sports podcast starring myself, Robert Jones, along with my co-host, Riggedy, Randy Watkins. How are you, Randy?
I'm doing well. How are you, Robert?
I'm great.
Yeah.
I'm great, and I'm doing good. I'm a proud papa. Life is fantastic. It's hot as Hades outside, but Randy, that's just how it goes. Sometimes it's a little warm outside. Sometimes you got to have a nice cold beer to cool off.
Woo!
So,
this is 2 nights in a row you've spent with me. How lucky are you?
I know. I count my blessings. The immovable mover moves us like pawns closer together, Randy, until one of us finally buries the hilt of our sword in the other's gut, claiming victory.
I was going to say till we are finally one sack together, but okay.
Well, there will be blood.
Oh, gosh.
So yeah, there was some sports this last week, some real exciting stuff, including some exciting stuff that you missed out on. I remember messaging you on Monday because you were on Vicky vacation, weren't you, buddy?
Vacation, yep. And while away on vacation, yes, I get your text, which I was following along a little bit with what was going on. I was mostly unplugged and off the grid for the week, but I did follow up, and not 1 week after talking about ACL injuries on the last episode of the R&R podcast, the rookie sensation from my Washington Redskins goes down with an ACL tear. Darius Geis out for the freaking season.
Guys, listen. Guys. What a bunch of wise guys.
I'm staring at your text, and I'm like, the first thing that comes to mind is you got to be shitting me.
Yeah, son of a bitch.
and I say that because not just a couple of nights before, or they played on that Thursday, so you had texted me on Monday. Thursday was, oh yeah, I tweaked my knee. I'm fine. Everything's good. Jay Gruden saying, oh yeah, he hyperextended his knee. All's good. I didn't think anything of it. I get your text, and bam, there you go. ACL out for the season after his MRI on Friday. And I'm like, oh, are you freaking kidding me, dude? Unbelievable.
I know.
Unbelievable.
Well, and it's just, I just had to share and commiserate with you since I had taken a couple hits with my Panthers. It's just, are you feeling me? Are you feeling me on this preseason stuff, man? Are you starting to come to the dark side?
I am, man. And it's so frustrating. Like we talked last week, dude. And we can get into it a little bit more. But one player that comes to mind from a few years ago was Junior Gillette. He tore his ACL, I think it was 2015, and he comes back in 2016 and tears the same damn ACL in preseason.
Jeez.
How does that happen? Oh, actually, it might have been the other ACL. So he blew both of them out in consecutive seasons. But not only that, Jonathan Allen, Josh Doxson, Sua Cravens, Chris Thompson, they've all been plagued with their injuries as rookies. And it's like,
yep.
Chris Thompson last year, he wasn't a rookie, but he blew out his ACL towards the end of the year and was having an incredible year. But it's so frustrating, Robert. I'm with you, dude. I'm just livid over this preseason to start after 1 week.
If you're going to lose a player, if you're going to have an injury, at least make the games count, damn it.
The kid had 6 freaking carries before he gets tackled from behind. And I don't know if you've watched the highlights of it. It wasn't a bad tackle.
No.
It wasn't like a safety came up and popped him on the knee.
Right. Oftentimes, it's not a dirty hit. It's not a bad hit. It's just a bad response. It's a bad way to land. It's more, sometimes it doesn't even look bad. Sometimes it's just, you're like, how on earth did that happen?
Makes absolutely
honestly though, I think I've told you this before, but I think within 10 years, medical technology is going to catch up, and we will be preemptively reinforcing people's ligaments somehow. I guarantee it.
Oh yes, they'll be back on the field in like 2 games, or maybe the same game,
or they never tear them. Can you imagine if you had a carbon fiber nanofilament to like prevent a tendon from overstretching?
At this point, I'm game for that, dude. I mean, just ridiculous how many players we lose every year. We named all the names off last week with ACL injuries already, and then boom, my team gets sucked. Your team.
Why don't we just go ahead and install leaf springs in these guys' cleats so at the goal line they can just hop over people, you know?
Some super I think a mutant football league when I think of that, like back in the day.
All the linemen are in giant Zorb balls. Even better, watch this. When the injuries get really bad or when concussions get really bad, you're going to see like an airbag system built into guys' pads that like protects the head from a bad hit.
Yeah, the inertia. As soon as his head starts going forward, boom, that airbag comes out.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
I'm protected. No. In 50 years from now, Randy, they will be injecting gel into guys' craniums that is specifically designed to like pad the brain. I will bet you money. Watch players. They'll have a little port on the top of their noggin, and instead of having water up against their brain, they'll have this special, power absorbing, like non-Newtonian liquid that diminishes the severity of a hit inside the noggin. And then it turns out that it gives like brain cancer or it rots your brainstem or something. Oh no, we poured asbestos directly onto your brain.
Roger Goodell 2000 now owns you.
His head's died. His head's in a jar with a goddamn little fan just like keeping it hovering off the ground. I'm the head of Roger Goodell.
Still making decisions. Still keeping the black man down. You're the criminal offender. You punched your wife. You're out for 8 games.
The permanent commissioner of the NFL, Robot Goodell. The problem with this league is people like Colin Kaepernick.
Still talking about Kaepernick. Oh.
Speaking about Cap, did you hear John Elway's statements today?
I didn't, but I know he's made his way back into the news. What did Elway say?
Basically, what Elway was saying is like, you want to hear about, like, they have a quarterback issue in Denver, a serious quarterback issue. And people are like, well, why don't you have Kaepernick? And he's like, well, actually, in 2016, we tried to acquire Kaepernick. And he turned down the offer. The only problem with that, and I'm not a Cap fan, but the problem with that is that they were offering him that when he was still an active player on the 49ers. This was before the whole backup quarterback problem. This was before he was without a job. So it's not like they offered him a job when he was jobless. They offered him a low offer when he was looking to be traded. And they were essentially trying to change his guaranteed money from $11 million to $7 million. And he turned that offer down. Now, obviously, Elway's like, this is what I said in front of the federal antitrust, or what is it? Whatever they were called in front of the courts for like colluding to keep him out of the league. Mm-hmm. But he said, this is what I said before the courts. But again, the problem is like, that's not when he was actually without a job. But it does go to show that somebody at one point was trying to acquire him, was willing to take the risk. I think the problem with Cap that people just need to accept is that he just wasn't valuable anymore. And I keep hearing all these pundits like, well, even as a back, he should be a backup somewhere. He should be a backup somewhere. But it's like, yeah, if you're not the same player you were and you've been out of the game for a while and you've got all of this other muck tied to you, this bad PR tied to you, whether you are supported or not, it's bad PR. That's really the main reason why he doesn't have a job in the league.
It is. Absolutely is. Dude, if RG3 can get a job back in the league.
Oh my God. Oh my God. No kidding.
I have no doubts that if Colin Kaepernick had not put the asterisks on his career the way he did, that he would have a job right now.
Well, what's funny? It would have meant more if he did it when he was a starter. But you know what? He did it when he was a backup, which just screamed attention getting. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Can we touch back on Denver's, because you've piqued my interest there with your comment about their depth chart. And it's just crazy, Robert, to think about that. Okay, not only did they have one of the best quarterbacks all time, and obviously he rides off in the sunset, right? But
I mean, they didn't have him at his prime, but yes, they had one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time on their team. Yes.
Right. Okay.
They had a version of him.
In the offseason, they trade for Case Keenum, right?
Yep.
But not only that, dude, in 2016, they drafted Paxton Lynch in the first round. And that guy's not even the second string quarterback right now.
Yeah, they just bucked him down to third string, buddy boy.
Dude, he hasn't done jack shit in the end.
John Elway, for being one of the great quarterbacks, cannot identify him. That is for god dang sure.
I mean, they have gone through some guys there.
Well, remember, Tebow was there, buddy boy.
Our buddy Tim Tebow. Yeah, but that's just I just wanted to touch on that briefly.
I call him Tim T-Bone because he's a hot piece of meat.
Tim T-Bone. Oh man.
I wonder if he's still pulling that virginal crap.
By now, surely.
Come on, man.
He had to.
Come on, man. You had to have fallen face first into a cream-filled donut at some point, right?
I mean,
come on, right? Man.
How's he doing in the major league? Right, by the way, right?
Good.
Yeah,
he's been doing great. He's just steadily plugging along, cracking homers and thanking God. So, I mean, last I heard, he's been doing all right, but I don't know. What?
No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean major league. He's still in the minors, right?
Yeah.
But wow, I guess he's still making it happen, right?
Yeah, he's still in the Mets organization. I think he had moved up. I don't see any immediate stuff like where he is right now, but I mean, he's still in the minor leagues with the Mets. And as bad as the Mets are, there's a good chance he'll get called up at some point just to sell some tickets. I mean, the Met. Thank God for the Orioles. Making sure that they are the absolute worst team in baseball. But the Mets aren't far behind.
No, I was just trying to look up his stats for the year, see where he's at.
Yeah, the Mets are 52-67.
Oh,
yeah. Although the Marlins are worse than the Mets, they're 48-75.
Ouch. Yeah, he's hitting 273 for the year.
Randy, the Orioles may not win 50 games this year. They are 36-85. They are already out of contention for everything.
Talking about a just ball club that fell off the map when Ripken left.
Yeah, man. And it's sad. It is sad. But then again, it's not that sad.
So back to our discussion on the ACL injuries. I blame it on one thing, bro, and then one thing only. I'm convinced, and I've just discussed this with my wife, who's getting tired of hearing about it, but talked about it over the last week. I've talked with coworkers about it. It's the freaking AstroTurf in the NFL, the artificial turf.
Yeah, that grassy turf. It's slick, man, even under the best circumstances.
Well, and not only that, when it should give way, it does not. Because I went back and watched Darius Geis interviews, and he said the same thing over and over. My leg was planted when I got tackled, and it just didn't give way. And I'm like, dude. So I look at the stats, and 17 out of 32 teams in the NFL have the artificial turf now. So over half the league has it.
Wow, that's huge.
And so, the NFL is constantly going at, why are injuries increasing? Why is it? This is why, dude. It's not just ACL injuries, but concussions, because these guys can't get into the right spots. Their feet are planting when they're not supposed to. Their feet are not giving away, and they're causing more injuries because of it. Major ligament injuries too, dude. If you go back and look at the stats, and I really wanted to have that prepared for tonight's episode, but I didn't get a chance. But statistically, if you look it up, there have been a higher rate of injuries on artificial turf versus grass.
I agree. There's way too many carpet munchers in the NFL, Randy.
Well, the game was never designed to be played on it. It was always played on grass.
You can't replicate. Now, they try and do it with little rubber balls, but you cannot replicate the feel and softness of dirt.
Mm-mm.
Just plain old dirt.
Mm-mm. No, they use sand and rubber and a lot of composite materials, and you're right. So
Non-natural man-made fibers. What you need, Randy, what he needs for his ligaments is if they had just had the right essential oils, and if they had just properly aligned their chakras, if they had lined their crystals in the right position and paid tribute to Moloch, they would just be better. But the real problem is that Mercury was in retrograde and he's a Sagittarius, so
Oh yes, I love that.
Can you tell?
We have to add that to the list.
Can you tell I lived in Asheville for 10 years?
Yes. That sounds like
for
every
those of you
Ashevillean.
who don't know. Yeah, Asheville, North Carolina is kind of like the San Francisco of the East. It's a unique place, It's unique, If you like weed and smelly hippies, it's a place for you. Really, I say hippies, but it's mostly trustafarians. It's mostly rich people, trust fund babies pretending to be poor. Hey, man, I'm just trying to get by, man. Yeah, like bash the fash. Daddy, pay for my $6,000 a month penthouse.
Yep. And you have to own a Subaru or a Prius just to live in the friggin' town. I swear to God.
Oh, yes. Subaru Outback. Or as we like to call them in Asheville, the lesbian battle wagon of the North.
Oh, that's
well, you
so
see,
true.
Randy, I said, the lesbian battle wagon of the North.
It's so true. I don't think they'll let you in the city limits without driving one of those two cars.
Well, and you need one of those stickers, the Keep Asheville Weird sticker, yeah, to pretend that you're a local. And then you ask people, like, where are you from? And it's like, I'm from New York. And you're like, oh, cool. How long you been here? 6 months. But keep Asheville weird. Sorry, that's not fair. That's actually more of the hillbilly voice. That's not what New Yorkers sound like at all. But it's funnier in that voice, isn't it?
Yes. or 26.3. They all have to have the stickers. Oh, look at me. 26.3, baby.
Jesus.
Give me a freaking
I love the 0.0 marathon runners. That would be me.
I have seen those.
Somebody the other day told me they ran a 10K for fun, and I said, if I'm running 10K, it's because it's a forced march. Someone has a gun to my goddamn head. Things in America have gotten bad and quick. The commies won, Randy.
Back in line, bitch.
Shut up, Nazi. Listen, guys, I used a red pen once. I have Jewish ancestry. I'm not a Nazi. Yeah, you would say that, Nazi. Well, you know what they'd say, Ed? He did not see that coming.
Oh, you got to put a sound in there for us.
And frankly, I'm disappointed in you, Randy. I don't know where we go from that.
I don't know either. But back to the turf issue. What do you think, dude? I'm curious on your thoughts because I don't even think it's a cold weather issue. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's because you can't go grass in the northern states and all that BS." But the Ravens, Ravens have turf. The Bengals have turf. They're not cold weather climates.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I understand that. Really, it's just laziness. I actually have some experience with the grassy turf. I used to play a lot of indoor soccer, and that was on the same stuff that they're playing in now. And one thing that I always remember about it is that, one, the raspberries that you'd get on your legs and arms were the worst. It really tears up your skin if you're making any contact with it. But the other thing is that it's true. Things don't jump off it right, and especially the football off that surface is not right. It takes weird bounces. It slides along like it's ice. It's just not quite the same. I understand why people are moving to it because it's cheaper in the long run. You don't have to maintain any grass. You don't have to water it. But you may have something there. There may be something to that.
I just think so. The more and more I think about it, the more and more I say to myself, this is one of the common thread issues of these injuries and why they keep happening year after year. And this freaking preseason that we keep talking about where guys lose the entire season. I mean, just I heard Chris Thompson talking about losing his brother in arms, and they're really, close in the locker room, all that whole running back committee. And it made me hurt for him, Robert, to go out there and play your ass off, go to OTAs, go to training camps, go to off-season practices. You finally get your chance in the NFL, and boom, you're down within the first freaking game of the preseason. And you lose the entire season, dude. How frustrating as an athlete is that?
No, it's the worst. It is the worst.
So, anyways, it just hopefully it gets better, but I don't know. I think it's going to move to even more teams to have artificial turf because they don't want to maintain the grass. Now, FedEx Field has had grass issues for years. I don't know about the Panthers Stadium, but they've had issues in DC for years maintaining that grassy field, especially late in the year.
No, you see that Panthers field, they got that rich Kentucky bluegrass that they have trimmed real nice and short. Now, you couldn't do Kentucky bluegrass as turf. Wait, can you imagine a football field if you actually let it go fallow, like actually grow to its full length, and you're trying to play in that crap? Actually, now I really want to see that. It's like a Children of the Corn on the football field.
Yeah, hard to move.
Join us, Cameron Newton. Oh man. Well, what else we got going on? Let's finish up with some NFL news.
Sure. Lots of fighting at the joint practices this week. Did you see any of the videos?
I have not.
So, the first one that happened was the Redskins and the Jets were practicing all week, and they were coming after Terrell Pryor all week because of the freaking stink egg he put in DC last year of his terrible piss poor playing ability. So the defense was coming right after him, and at one point, him and Merriweather got into it, and Merriweather punked him. He threw a fist at him like he was going to punch him, and walked away. And so they ripped him all week. And towards the end of the week, Pryor said to a reporter, "I'm just ready to get the F out of here." It was awesome because, man, that they were holding that in. When you go to a team and you're hyped up like you are, you come off a good season and you come to play with Kirk Cousins, your high expectations, and then you suck, dude. You absolutely suck. And Terrell Pryor pissed me the hell off last year because he dropped so many open balls. Even when he was able to make the plays, they weren't for much. And so he would be wide open on a post and drop balls. And so I'm glad to see he got his shit handed to him this week in practice.
Yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins and Jimmy Ward was the other one. I don't know if you saw that, but they got into it pretty bad.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that stuff doesn't surprise me. It's tempers flare, that kind of thing. It's a bunch of very well paid men full of testosterone hitting each other over and over again. Sounds like Liberace's fantasy.
DeAndre's helmet got knocked off, and the thing is, dude, they're obviously no referees, so it's just all out hands fest in these things between the wide receiver and the corner. And so they're both beating each other the hell up. And, the 5-yard rule doesn't really apply. So Jimmy Ward rips DeAndre's helmet off, and they start going at it, and benches clear and stuff. So it was awesome. If you haven't seen those two videos, I would definitely encourage you to look them up. It's worth a watch.
Yeah.
Hit us with the next.
If I wanted to watch a bunch of overgrown babies beat each other up, I'd go to one of my family reunions, Randy. I don't care if she's my cousin. I love her. That's my wife. You six-toed mother effer.
If anyone's going to have sex with my sister,
it's going to be me. Oh, jeez. Come on, Randy. This ain't West Virginia. We ain't that bad.
distant cousins. Distant. And I mean, we're not blood. We don't share blood.
Kissing cousins. Oh, you don't kiss like your mama. All right, I got some fun news to share, man. Tiger Woods, our boy Tiger Woods, man, finished in second, undisputed, not tied with anybody, second place at the PGA Championship behind Brooks Koepka. Brooks Koepka won his second major this year. He also won the U.S. Open, but Tiger shot a 6 under in his final round. It's one of his best performances in a final round at any major. And he played great with his irons in spite of a very poor fairway percentage with the driver. So my feelings are, I know I told you this over the weekend, if he can get his driver in check before the Masters, what a great comeback story if he can come back and win that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dude, that would be awesome. Yeah, it's nice to see his irons and his short game on.
His short game's great, man. I'm more excited about this match he's got with Phil. He seems like a different person. He's yucking it up with fans. He's actually smiling and laughing with the other golfers. He's not nearly as serious and competitive, yet he can still go out on a Sunday and shoot 6 under when everybody else. Koepka only shot 4 under in that round. And you think about if Koepka had not performed that way, Tiger Woods very well could have won a major for the first time in 10 years. I think it has to do with a couple of things. So number one, he doesn't have all that pressure on his back to succeed and win anymore. Yeah.
Number two, he's got all that drama and BS behind him. And I think you said it exactly. I think he's learning to love the game again and just go out there and enjoy it.
Yeah.
He's not only is he enjoying it, he is still focused. And, he's a competitive son of a bitch. I'll tell you that much. But he's not like he used to be in the fact that he cuts and shuts everything else out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I just like it. It's good for the game. And you got to remember, like, we grew up with Tiger's dominance. And so there's kind of a little bit of a boyhood fancy to see him competing again. It's great to kind of see somebody who you admired as a player, as a kid, reaching that pinnacle again, or at least working towards it. I mean, seriously, coming in second at a PGA championship like this, that's a big deal. Like, he beat lots of other younger golfers that should have played better than him,
Yeah. Yeah, I did not get to see the final round, but sounds like a great one.
Yeah, 6 under on that course on Sunday was like, it was the best round anybody had that day. And I think he was only 4 back to start the day. So for him to do that, I mean, that's pretty clutch. But anyways, so there's some Tiger Woods news. Moving on, though, a little bit of an update to the LeBron James school situation. I did a little bit more digging into this, and it's less generous than it previously seemed. The school itself is actually, it's a part of the Akron public school system, and his foundation, as well as other investors, will only be contributing a quarter of the expenses of the school, whereas the rest will be on the burden of the taxpayers. And the college tuition that he has promised to all graduates of the school, he's not funding at all. It's actually being funded by the state of Ohio.
Okay, how can he do that? How can he promise tuition for the state of Ohio?
I'm just saying, man, it's it's just interesting that we have all this. Oh, look at all these great things that he did, and then you actually dig into the numbers, and you're like, not quite as generous as we thought, and yet you plastered your name all over that.
That reminds me so much of the Office episode where Michael Scott had promised all those children
the college education
that he would pay for their college. And every single one of them came back to him for it.
Well, what's so funny is, like, again, you got to remember, he has something, a shoe contract with Nike that's north of $1 billion. That's all we know. We just know it's north of $1 billion. I'm glad that they've put stuff in place to like make this a school that works long term, but it's a very expensive school and it is a public institution. You know, I really wonder.
Gotta read the fine print.
Oh God, I really wonder what it'll look like in 10 years. But I mean, it's still generous, but it's not nearly as generous as it sounded to begin with.
Got bills to pay, got mouths to feed.
So in other news, Randy, the Little League World Series is going on, and you finally have an excuse to watch little boys from around the world hitting each other's balls.
That's right up my alley, Robert.
Yeah.
I'd love to see those little dimple bottoms throwing around balls everywhere.
Oh, Herbert, this is your favorite time of the year, isn't it?
Yes, I like to watch it in my basement. I invite all the neighborhood boys over. They come down and they eat some
I was just going to say, do you serve any kind of hors d'oeuvres, Herbert?
Yeah, we have vodka-flavored popsicles, penis-flavored popsicles.
What about those little weenies? What do you call them? Pigs in a blanket?
I don't know. I just call them whatever I feel like.
Oh, no. So, yeah, I figured we should mention that the Little League World Series is going on. Thank you, Herbert, for your contribution. I appreciate that. But you can screw off now, you creepy old cod.
If you want to turn the channel to the remote in my pocket.
Oh, no. Wow. There's only one button on this remote, Herbert. It just makes you feel dirty. It just makes you feel gross. But anyways, yeah. I don't know. My money's always on like some team from Texas. You know.
Safe bet.
Puerto Rico just got beaten by who was it? Was it Korea? I think it was Korea. Yeah. I've always thought it was funny that they have the world play on one end and then have the U.S. play on the other end.
I don't think I ever realized that.
Yeah, the international teams play each other, and then the winner of the international teams play the winner of the United States teams in a one-game playoff.
I did not know that. Wow. So they combine Europe and Africa all on one team. That's awesome.
Well, that's kind of what they're doing in Europe right now, Randy. Hi-oh!
Dude, Canada has a team. Since when does Canada play freaking baseball?
We like all sorts of sports with sticks, you know. Sticks on the ice, sticks on the dirt, stick in your face. We're real friendly until you say that the Oilers won't make it this year. You know. Why did I say the Oilers?
There is a
I picked like the one non-Canadian team.
There is a team from Texas in there. Houston
is
playing.
No. They are the Edmonton Oilers. Okay, so I did pick a Canadian team. All right.
Okay, good.
Woo!
I can sleep tonight.
Safe.
There's a Hawaiian team in. So, that's interesting. So, little boys.
Some real quick Duke news. Zion Williams is going to be a beast this year. I think everybody knows that. But Duke is doing some exhibition matches on a Canadian tour right now, playing games. And he dropped like 29 points the other day. A ridiculous dominating performance.
Against who? A Canadian basketball team?
I actually don't know who they're playing, and I don't care. I just watched the highlight reel, and it was hella cool. And then Duke's O'Connell is out with an orbital fracture in his face. That's a bad place to have a fracture there. Can't really put a cast on that, but it's actually a very common injury in basketball.
Wait, another face mask at Duke?
Pretty much. Yeah, we call it the Hansborough special. You get it?
Yeah. Yeah, Zion Williamson, man, the real deal. Him and RJ Barrett. So it'll be interesting. I did see some highlights.
I totally get why people hate Duke. It's like not only do they have the championships, but they win the recruiting game every single year the last decade.
It's insane, dude. It's insane.
It's like Coach K resisted the one and dones for years and years and years, and he's just like, screw it. I'll do it better than any of you idiots.
Pretty much. I mean, a 285-pound freshman. I mean, that jumps out of the gym.
If that was a tuna,
dude.
we'd be losing our mind.
I mean, there's a picture on the internet of him dunking, and his head is above
Yeah.
the rim. I
Yep.
mean, that's
Yep.
insane.
Yep.
He's only 6'6".
Yep. Kid's got hops. He's got more hops than a Czech Pilsner.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how it goes come ACC time. I'm excited for this year. I got a feeling that Nasir Little is going to bring it. So it'll be a good rivalry this year.
I had one last story on here about some BS from baseball about hitting somebody on a first pitch, but at the end of the day, I don't really care because it's the Miami Marlins, and it seems really petty. But
you have to mention that because when we were at the restaurant last night. That's what I was telling you guys about. I was watching it on the other screen inside the bar, and you have to talk about the story because it is absolute bullshit.
Okay, all right, we'll cover the story. Let's just make sure that as I pull up the link, it doesn't automatically start playing the video as it likes to do. Marlins Jose Urena suspended 6 games for hitting Ronald Acuna Jr. on the very first pitch of the game.
And it is ugly. It's an obvious beamer, Robert. He was going straight for him.
Yeah.
It's bad. Ronald Acuna has homered in the last 5 straight games, I think, and tensions were high before this game. And last night when we were at the restaurant, I remember I didn't get to see the pitch, but I saw the benches clearing after it. And let me tell you what, he pissed a lot of Bravos off.
Yeah, well, and I'll
pitch.
tell you what, man, it was Bravos. Well, yeah. No, sure. Yeah. It was the Marlins pitcher, of course. But yeah, I mean, he went right for the guy's elbow. I mean, it pegged him in the elbow. 97 mile an hour fastball.
Yep.
97 mile an hour.
97 miles an hour, dude, with nothing you can do to get out of the way.
First pitch of the game. Yeah, it hurt him too. It really hurt him. It's some BS.
I'm surprised it didn't fracture his elbow.
Here's the deal. If you got a guy, you got a guy who's hitting on you like that, man. Here's what you do. You walk him. If you don't want him hitting a home run on you, you walk him. You send him to first base. Don't even waste, if that's what you're going to do. But now, of course, they're playing the game of, I didn't mean to. I just didn't locate. BS. You don't get to be a major league pitcher and throw a guy. I mean, he wasn't even giving him any chin music, It was right into center mass. And it's a goddamn lucky thing that he didn't actually break something, because where it hit him, it could have been very bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it could have been.
I feel strongly.
He's lucky. He's lucky that one of the other Braves didn't slug him. Yeah. I mean, he really is. Because
that could have been one of those where you chuck the bat at the mound. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Even the Brave skipper got booted for that one because he was the one leading the charge out of the dugout. There wasn't players running out. He's freaking running out there first, and everybody's got his back running out there. I mean, it was just crazy, dude.
The Marlins are just desperate for somebody to talk about them. You know what I mean? Please
is a surefire way to make that happen.
Anyways, we got to wrap this puppy up because we are already over time. So if you like the show, check us out on Twitter at CriscoCast. You can find us on Facebook at Chrisco Industries. You can find our channel on YouTube at youtube.com/CriscoCast. You can also please support the show. We would certainly appreciate it at patreon.com/Chrisco Industries. And you know what? Just thank you so much for listening. If you like the show, tell your friends. If you do listen, we really appreciate it because Randy and I'll speak for you, Randy. I love doing this. Love getting to do it. Love getting to do the silly voices. Be great to tell your friends, tell your wife, tell us what you like about the show. Give us some feedback.
Yes. Yeah, we'd really enjoy it. I absolutely I second that. I really enjoy doing this. If we both didn't, then this wouldn't be happening. So thank you for listening.
Yeah, man. So we will all be back next week. Same place, maybe different time. So For Randy Watkins, I'm Robert Jones, and this has been the R&R Sports Podcast. We will see y'all next time.
Later, taters.